1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Just so many hours you spent on the phone, I wasted here loving you. Now you gonna tell me that you're on your own, you're leaving me sad and blue. Just so many days you've been on my mind, you been stop trouble on down the line. Cool if I go, cool if I stay, tell you what I'm gonna do. Tell you what I'm gonna do. Tell you what I'm gonna do. Let it roll, let it glide, let it fall.
Howdy. And welcome this, the 29th episode of the Clay and Woodrow Show. Certainly been a little bit in and out of pocket just based upon vacation and that kind of stuff. But we're going to get back on our normal routine, back into syndication. And we've been picked up for another season. That's good news for all of you that are out there listening.
Excellent news.
And if we had one of those like applause things, that'd be, could you kind of clap off scene a little bit? You see, that's our, so we've been picked up for another season, and we thank our producer did a lot of negotiating in order to pick that up. And so, so a couple things right out of the bat. Want to thank our sponsor today. He's our first person to pay $500, isn't he? This guy right here.
Yeah, this is huge.
This is our big time sponsor.
This really made it happen.
Yeah, Clay Thomas, realtor with Crossway Realty, co-owner, Crossway Realty, Crossway Property Management, right here, zip, zip, right here. And interestingly, and we didn't know this, but just got word by way of text, voted Southeast Georgia's sexiest realtor by Brooke Thomas.
Wow.
Yeah, and Brett Miller. Brett Miller thinks so too. And so we appreciate Brett's vote of confidence. He's secure enough in his manhood. He's just like, yeah, that old Clay's a sexy beast, you know? So appreciate Brett Miller and, of course, Brooke Thomas, who's still dealing with visual impairment, probably. You know, we normally do this 10 o'clock in the morning. We got a little hectic day. My schedule got off.
It's a little later.
A little later in the day. So I did not make it into hair and makeup. And wardrobe just threw on a blue polo on me circa 1988. And somewhere a members only jacket should be going with my polo today. So this is a little bit later in the day that we would normally do it, but good to be back with the fans of the Clay and Woodrow Show. And is Woodrow on camera, at least partly on camera?
He is.
As you guys might remember, Woodrow sat, I'm going to try to be gentle because he's right here in the room. And listen, this is water on the bridge. We have handled it. But he needed to renegotiate his contract, and his people had to get with our people. It was messy for a little while, but we've got things resolved. Woody is back in studio, and we are giving him back-end points of our production, and that's what settled it. So he's getting his normal salary on the show, but he wanted some back-end ownership, and so we gave him that, and his people are satisfied. And so Woody is now back manning the computers and doing our research in the back for us. And so we appreciate Woody being here as well. So this on the 29th episode, I'm destined to, in no way, shape, or form, to discuss mask.
Please
Can I tell you? So if we work on our titles afterwards, and so I want the title to be not mask, but whatever. So not mask is going to be our title, because certainly what we need in this world is one more person's opinion on mask. And I'm not going to do that. I mean, I got some opinions, but you know me, I would never make a commitment to not discuss something and then turn around and discuss it. I would never ever do that. I have flown recently. I will say that.
Have you?
And I would not discuss mask, but it is so funny how certain people are just saying that because of this here mask episode that I'm not going to talk about, that we are now all of a sudden giving up our liberties, our freedoms. And it's so funny, but Mr. Producer, I know sometimes you're just a simple man. That's one of the reasons I don't know if you know how these here airports work, but before I got on the airplane with 200 other passengers, I was made to take off my shoes and my belt, and a stranger frisked me in such a way that I thought we might should have had dinner beforehand to make things a little bit more comfortable.
You do have that look about you.
Yeah. And so the whole idea of that there are businesses and there are products and there are things in our lives in which we have to give up some freedoms in order to experience other freedoms, that really didn't start recently. Did it, Mr. Producer?
No, I don't think so.
I was scanned. I had to remove my shoes. I had to do all of this, and this didn't just happen recently. This has been going on for
It's been a while since I've been to an airport, and they did that last
They did
time.
that. They did that the last time that you went. Because here's how I am. Now, and I'm funny this way. Most people aren't this funny way, but I don't like to explode in the air in a moving plane.
No,
I'm funny that. I'm funny that way.
I'm with you.
I don't like bombs going off in my plane, so I give up a little freedom to make sure that I arrive at my destination without hearing kaboom.
It's a good trade-off.
It's a good trade-off. And so this whole idea, Kroger, I just noticed just recently that they had a sign up that said no shirt, no shoes, no shirt. Is that recent, or has that been, oh, you know what? That's been as long as I've been alive. That's what that has been. And so a company has got its own independent rules. And if I choose not to follow those rules, this is crazy. I have the freedom to walk into Kroger or choose not to go into Kroger because I don't like their rules. Yeah. Now, as you know, I'm always a guy that likes to shop shirtless. And that's what I'm known for.
Yeah.
I don't wear a shirt when I go pick out my produce.
No.
So I have to find a place that does not remove those freedoms from me. So, Mr. Producer, sometimes people don't understand sarcasm. Do you get that?
I get it.
Do you follow that?
Yeah.
So I'm saying that rules, like I own a business. I'm sitting right now on the 17th floor of the Trellis Carpenter building in the Timmy Tooper studio. We've got rules around here.
Yeah.
Like we don't allow profane language in our area.
Mm-hmm.
So if somebody comes in and starts spewing off 4-letter words, we're going to politely ask them to leave. Am I taking away some of their freedoms? I sure am.
Surely.
And they have the right not to come into my building.
That's right.
And I have the right to ask them to leave my building. Just like Kroger and Walmart and Lowe's have the right to do what that's the people complaining about freedom are seeing freedom at work. Lowe's has freedom too. But I'm not going to discuss this. You follow?
No,
me?
we're not.
I'm not going to discuss this. I'm not going to discuss this. But freedom, rules have been around for quite.
I hear you can't run stop signs.
Well, you know what? Just recently, I found out that in fact you cannot run a stop sign because there are freedoms that I don't have because I could collide into another car and kill someone.
That's right.
And so freedoms at times are restricted. When I go watch the old Ware County football game, you know what? There's some people that don't like being wanded at the, metal.
Yeah.
And I heard a man of the community complain about that. And he gave and started spitting out this rhetoric about his freedoms taken away. And the 22-year-old police officer could not have handled it better. He goes, "Sir, I'm not taking away any of your freedoms." And he goes, "Well, yes, you are. You're taking away my freedoms." And I was like, he goes, "No, I do not have to wand you. But if you want to get into this game, I got to wand you. But if you don't want to be wanded, just don't walk into this game." So he had the freedom to walk into the game. We had the freedom to go to his car and go back home. That is freedom. That's what freedom is all about. And I'm not going to discuss mask. We've already said that.
There's really no point.
But I do understand that some masks might be more effective than others because I'm not going to discuss it. I can imagine that's the case.
Sure.
Like an N95 is going to be more valuable than a certain other kind of mask and others kind. And some masks might prevent more things than other things. But have you noticed the NFL? Like football helmets, they don't stop all concussions, but they stop a lot of concussions. And so the NFL, those guys are still wearing helmets.
Yeah.
Because they stop a lot of concussions. Under these people's theory, because helmets don't stop all concussions, you just shouldn't wear helmets at all.
No, not at all.
Okay. You got
that
it?
makes sense.
Yeah. I don't care. Wear a mask, don't wear a mask. I don't care. But at least have some consistency. And Woody's getting up and leaving.
Woody's walking out.
We're going to have to renegotiate his contract again. Woody's just walked out on the stage. But it's just driving me crazy. There's been a lot of rules in place before the coronavirus, and society has said, you know what, I can go along with those rules. That seems reasonable. And if I don't want to go along those rules, I'm not buying produce today. Not that difficult. Now, on to more important things. J.C. Penney's Jock Panay in Waycross is shutting down.
Closing down.
As an adult, I don't know that I've been into JCPenney. Perhaps that's a part of their problem because people aren't going into their store. But as a child, it seemed that might have been a place that we frequented. Now, you grew up.
That was over where Big Lots is now.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Do you
It was
remember?
a lot nicer place.
Would you guys comment? I'm not crazy. Well, I am crazy, but on this, I'm not crazy. JCPenney's used to have this big contraption that laid in the floor, like as big as my desk, and you stood up on it and you stuck your foot in it. If y'all remember this, tell me I'm not. And you pressed a button and it would come and measure your foot.
Yes, I remember that.
Okay, and this gadget was the coolest thing.
It was cool.
Bulky. It was huge. It looked like a huge treadmill almost.
Yeah.
And you get up, and these squares would come and mash your feet, and then give you a reading of what size of your
High
foot
tech.
was.
Very high tech.
I don't like JCPenney's for the very reason they had something that was very cruel. And you know what? I'm gonna say this as well because I think I'm gonna be on a roll today. You know, my mom is like a saint in this community, and for good reason. My mom is a phenomenal person. You know, dads don't ever get any credit. It's only the moms that do good. And so,
Sure.
and my mom is, but my mom had major flaws as a parent, and I'm going to use this episode to explode some of those. One of the things that she did is she put me in jeans that actually had the word husky on the back of the jeans.
no.
The name of the jeans was Husky.
Yeah.
And you know, you're talking about a little pudgy kid going to Alice Street Elementary that's got maybe some little body conscious issues. Nothing to make a kid better. All 3'8" of him, 160 pounds, walking through Alice Street with his jeans having the word Husky. Now, I didn't know any better, but guess what? Guess who should have known better? The adult
Yeah.
that bought me the Husky jeans. Another thing, and she bought them from JCPenney's. So I don't like JCPenney's because I got stuck with Husky jeans. Second thing my mom was famous for, I think we were middle class growing up, but I wasn't smart enough to know what middle class was, but that was probably about right. So let's say somewhere around middle class. But I do know this, we did not have enough money that my mom had no fear. Belts used to come inside of pants back in those days. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
The little woven cheap belts, the whatever. Mm-hmm. And I would try to get out of buying a pair of pants because it's like, well, I don't like that belt. And she's like, oh, don't worry. I'll switch out the belt. My mom and JCPenney's, and you weren't supposed to do this.
Yeah.
She would do the old switcheroo on the predetermined belt that was already inside of the pants back in the day. She would just swap out one that she liked better and stick it back into my Husky. You know, so I walked through the majority of elementary school. I mean, people knew I was fat. They could look at me. I knew I was fat. I had a mirror at my house. But my mom said, you know what we need to do? Not only do people need to know that you're fat, and you need to know that you're fat, if there's any way we could put some signage on your jeans to let the whole world know that you're a fat kid, I would like to buy those for you. And so that's exactly what my mom did. So all of you that think that she's a saint, by the way, she is. She's a good lady. She ain't perfect. Yeah. There's no reason to put your kid through wearing, you know, Husky jeans. I'm still a big boy today, partly because of that. Maybe that makes no sense whatsoever, but
No, I can see it.
I'm pinning that on my mom and my brother and I don't eat fruit. I think we've covered that before, but that's on her too. I don't know what happened, but we don't eat fruit, so that is on her. But JCPenney's closing down in Waycross, and I can say I'm sad because I don't want any business in our little lovely community to shut down. But if any business has got to go, it's the Husky company.
Yeah.
And JCPenney's was the evil empire that had me roughly from 1979 to 1984 wearing breeches called Husky.
Giving kids complexes.
Yeah. So if any business has got to go, JCPenney's. I'm fine with it. I'm fine. If any business, I don't want to see it, but I'm still angry with them over my Husky pants. As far as now, I know overall you're not a huge sports enthusiast. Do you keep up with any baseball? That looks like
not
a no.
Much.
Not as much as what? as any of the sports that you keep up with.
Pretty much.
Okay, so just as much as you keep up with ping pong and high-lie.
I keep up with middle school tennis.
Okay, all right, that's big around here.
And a little bit of high school swim.
Okay, all right. So you can check out for just a little while. You and Christy Miller can check out because I will say the Braves are back on. That's bringing me some relaxation in my life, and I appreciate that.
I've seen a lot of comments out of you, though. It doesn't seem like it's been all relaxation.
Exactly. Right? I'm one of those. It's really nice when they win, and then I'm shouting at the room when the back end of a rotation, Mr. Producer, you have 5 starting pitchers. Our number 1 and 2 are not just good, they're great. Our number 3, 4, and 5 could maybe pitch for Wasburg. whatever you want to call it. Okay, let me tell you, the back end of our rotation is bad. It's really, really bad. And so we have pitcher number 2 tonight. So tonight we should be good. Max Fried. But when we get to Nuke, we don't even have our number 4 pitcher was so bad. After he took his shower, he was notified that he was designated on assignment. He could not get his shower finished after the game before he received the news. You're going back down to the minor leagues. That's how bad we are. But glad to see the Braves back on. That to me is really super, super positive. So I'm certainly glad to see the Braves back on. It gives me something to look forward to every night. In my life, in my family, just had a daughter to turn 16.
Yeah.
Can we talk about that for just a second?
Oh, I think we need to.
Classic story. So the Waycross, State Patrol drivers not open, so we had to go over to Douglas. My daughter, unlike my son, gets nervous about anything and everything, so she was having panic attacks about. So this isn't the written part. This is when you have to actually drive. Okay, Now Douglas has the actual course, and any parents that have kids that are about to turn 16, I can help you through this course. So because of COVID, the instructor could not be in the car with her. Only a parent could, but I could not talk. So they called me on my cell phone. I put it on speakerphone, and the instructor then gives the directions by way of speakerphone to Neely, and then she can also tell that I'm not helping Neely.
Right.
God intervened. Now, literally, this is a cool thing. Right before we got out to go sign up for it and everything, I started getting out and Neely just stopped me. She goes, "Dad, would it be okay if we prayed together?" I said, "Absolutely, let's do that." So we prayed together, and I asked for all the intervention from God, to come down from the heavens and drive the car for us or whatever we needed to do.
Exactly.
Because a little bit over here was a nervous wreck. And so God did intervene. Here's what happened. A girl did her test in front of us. That was an advantage, so we could kind of see what we had to do. So we could talk it through. But once this test started, I couldn't talk because of the cell phone. The lady who's doing the test, sweet lady, she screams at us afterwards and says, "My phone just died. I'm going to just have to scream out to her what she needs to do." And we said,
Wow.
Perfect.
Excellent.
I looked at my daughter and I just said, "Listen, if I tell you to do something, you do it." With all due respect, I've seen her parallel park. It was not going to end well.
Yeah.
And so she couldn't hear us. And so am I saying on the Clay and Woodruff show, did we as a tandem cheat our way through yes, we did. I told her every stop to make, when to turn the wheel back. The woman couldn't hear us. The woman seemed fine with all of this. But the one time the woman did walk up to the car, I became silent. Like any good cheating parent, I at least was not going to cheat in front of the instructor.
Not blatantly obvious.
But she asked Neely to back up to her window so she could talk to her. But Neely was still in the big R. And so she said, and I can't help her now because my window's down and she's standing. I could reach out and touch her. And she says, "Neely, what I need you to do now, just last thing, I need you to pull up to that stop sign, pull out of the space, pull into the stop sign, and I need you to take a left-hand turn and just go back to your main parking spot." In other words, it's over. This is all you got to do. Neely's still in R, and she says, "I need you to pull forward." Says, "Yes, ma'am," like the cordial little girl she is, but still in R, gets in this position, presses on the gas, and does the whole thing where she thinks she's going forward, and the car goes.
Uh-oh.
So the only time she does give Neely instructions to pull forward, Neely goes in reverse right beside her. But she passed, and so here's the thing that we came to. Neely then that same night, bless her heart, had the nerve. I said, "What are we doing for supper?" And Brooks said, "I think Neely's ordering Grubhub." I'm like, "Grubhub? No. Neely is now Grubhub. Both of my kids can drive a car. We will never order Grubhub ever again. They are Grubhub."
Exactly.
Grubhub is a convenience because the parents don't want to go drive. Both of them can drive. So if you want to order Grubhub, text Neely. She'll go and get it. So guess what happened that night? Grubhub came to my house. I was a big talker, and both of them looked at me like, "Yeah, you don't call the shots around here. We do." So, but anyhow, I will say the test went very, very well. Neely, because she looks 11 years old, was asked 100 times at the Coffee County DMV, "Sugar, are you saying that you're 15 and you need to take that test?" "No, ma'am, I'm 16 years old." "Okay, but when will you turn 16? "Yes, ma'am, I've already turned 16. I turned 16 on Sunday." The next lady comes up. "Okay, go over there to the computer and we're going to let you take your test." "No, ma'am, I've already taken that test. I need to take the driver's test." And the lady would say to Neely, yeah, but you have to be 16. Ma'am, I am 16 years old. Do you have any identification with you? Yes, ma'am. The lady's already had it. Who's already asked me 15 times. Are you sure that you're 16 years old? So we went through that, and she can barely see over the steering wheel, but she did a very good job. It was kind of one of those moments. I mean, I hate to say this, but I'm glad that I was there for her. It was a neat moment to share with my daughter, to cheat with her on a state mandated test.
Yeah,
it was fun. How about you? What's going on?
Man, what's not going on?
Busy times?
It is.
I understand.
I've if anybody has figured out who I am by now, they know that, I stopped watching The Walking Dead back years ago after a disagreement I had with the writers, and so I picked that back up.
Oh.
And I'm almost through with
Did you come to terms?
Now.
Did you come to terms with the writers, or you just had to reevaluate your own life?
It's been a couple of years, so I got over it, moved on, and so I'm plowing through the last 3 seasons.
Three seasons of The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
So this is why we're so a good tandem. I won't be caught dead watching anything science fiction. Now I will say. Well, no, I didn't like that either. Like the Harry Potter, my son when he was little took me to see Tron.
Oh yeah.
The
new
gosh!
Tron was.
I just snatched him up, looked at him like, "How are you related to me?" And we walked out there. Oh, it was horrible. So any science, my brother's a big science fiction guy. Bless y'all's hearts. But my brother's a big science. He gets the Game of Thrones. Like he read the Game of Thrones before Game of Thrones ever came out, and I was like, that's a whole new level of nerddom, for me that my brother has. But I'm not a science fiction guy.
I'm not a big enough nerd to read the Game of Thrones.
Okay, he is.
I did watch every episode.
Okay, and I watched some of that as well. So, Walking Dead at your house, should I try it, or you just don't think I'd like it?
No,
I wouldn't like it, would I?
It's very appropriate for this pandemic.
Yeah, that I could see.
And they didn't want, and oddly enough, nobody on that show wore any masks.
Oh, careful now.
And humanity was coming to an end.
Careful. Now they filmed some of that in Atlanta, though, right?
Yeah,
like in an old shopping center or something like that, or
I don't know when they stopped.
Okay,
or if they stopped, they may still be up there, but
okay,
yeah.
So summary today, I think we'll just summarize 4 things. And because I love you, I'm going to have the heart to say, number 1, if you want to catch The Walking Dead, our producer recommends it. I don't highly recommend it. But if the Braves are losing 11-1, go check out The Walking Dead. Number 2, freedom isn't free. I don't know. That just seems like something to say. But number 3, I would say the Braves have got to do something. The back end of their rotation is abysmal. And then number 4, strangely, over the last 7 or 8 decades, airports have been asking us to do things, to follow rules that do, in fact, infringe upon our freedoms, and we've been willing to do so because that's what reasonable, sensible people do.
Yeah.
With that being said, it's good to see all of y'all. We'll be back strong as ever. And also thank our sponsor. Golly, we couldn't do it without
some great guys.
$500 sponsorship from that cat.
Huge.
So we appreciate that. Just call him if you need to go see a house, list a house, anything like that.
Wasn't enough to keep Woody in the room, but
he ran right out. So you guys have a great day. Good talking to you. Take care.
Outside, let her go.